Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. How you doing? Glad everybody's doing well, I guess, for the most part. Maybe not for everybody, but Well, I'm glad you're watching. And I gotta say, I was really kind of in a celebratory mood earlier this week when the election results started to show up on TV and stuff, and the Democrats did very well. But I guess it really comes to no shock to anybody, because when you're a Republican and you do the things that you've been doing for the last 9 months, hey, you're kicking your own party right in the nuts. And that's what Trump's been doing. And it shows now that people are mad enough now. They're going to do what they can to undo this mess. And so yeah, the Republicans are mad. Okay, it's pretty clear. They're really pissed off. I don't know why they are. They should know more than anybody that when you start implementing policies that go against the grain of the country and what it stands for, you're going to lose. Okay, nobody wants to hear about deportations of people, or no matter what. Okay, nobody wants to hear about food stamps not being funded because of a government shutdown initiated for no goddamn good reason except to cover Trump's ass. Okay, nobody wants to hear about bombings happening off the coast of Venezuela to people who may or may not be drug dealers. We don't know who they are because they're not given any due process or any investigation to know who they are. Some of these people may not even be what we're being told they are. So how can we know, right? We don't have any evidence. All we have is the word of the administration. And they, up to this point, have a very poor track record of being honest. So we can't trust that what we're being told is true. So we're left constantly debating whether or not these things are really legal, which a lot of experts are saying is not legal. And so you can add that on the list of things you can impeach this Donald Trump for here, with the mountain of shit that he's done already. So it's really it's really troublesome that we've gone this far with this guy, and there really hasn't been what I would consider to be enough pushback against Trump for a lot of the things that he's done. I think in any other time in the past in American history, we would have seen some movement for impeachment, against a guy like that right off, especially if the guy was a Democrat that was doing the same thing. The Republicans would have been screaming "Oh, Mary hell," and the fact that that the Republicans released 440 some odd pages of what what Clinton had done with Monica Lewinsky, made that public. Is like, well, if you guys were insistent on that information coming out, then why are you guys sitting on this shit with concerning Trump and Jeffrey Epstein? Okay, don't you think the reverse here should be equally dealt with, in a serious fashion? I mean, come on. Like I said, it's hypocrisy at its root. I think that the reason that this government shutdown is now the longest government shutdown in American history, the reason why this has happened is largely because it pertains to legal issues concerning Jeffrey Epstein and the fact that Donald Trump's name figures prominently in the reports, probably worse than what people are thinking he's involved in. okay? Probably has some names of people who can cause him serious damage if if it ever got out. You know what I'm saying? There's probably victims out there of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein who could really, really put the screws on them if they were ever given the light of day there of a chance to say anything. But you know, Mike Johnson, you know, dodging the questions and trying to make excuses for why we haven't come back, you know, or why we haven't sworn in this. You know, come on. You know, it's ridiculous. It's on the surface. It looks so ridiculous, the argument. Okay, nobody's falling for it. They know Johnson's a fucking liar. They know he's involved in this fucking Epstein thing. Okay, his name is in those reports. That's the only reason why he's so adamant about not opening or allowing or making agreements with the Democrats to at least allow the government to start back up again. He doesn't want to hear it. It doesn't matter, you know, any negotiation with the Democrats is not going to work. Johnson's going to see to that. He's not going to allow anything to happen that's going to start the government back up. That's why I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if this goes on into next year, folks. I really wouldn't be surprised. In California, after the election, the Republicans in California are going to sue, or they've begun the process of suing the House map approved by the voters. And I find that, you know, at least a giggle or two is warranted here, because these are the same Republicans who thought it was A-OK to go into Texas and gerrymander the shit out of that state, so that way Republicans only will win. Okay? But Governor Newsom decides, okay, you guys are going to play that game. We're going to do that right here in California so we can make sure that only the Democrats will win. And so the voters said, yeah, let's do that. And they voted for it. And now the Republicans in that state are pissed off. It's like, well, look, people, you can't have it both ways. You can't gerrymander on one side and then tell the other side, no, you're not allowed to do it. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for them. You started this thing and now it's happening. And everybody knew the Republicans were going to get pissed about that because we know how hypocritical they are. And the fact that by what they're doing, by what happened in California, negates what they did in Texas, essentially. Okay? It negates what they did in Texas. So that made everything they did there kind of moot at this point now. So they can sue all they want, but if the voters approved it, hey, there's not a damn thing you can do about it. You can sue till the cows come home. All right? But you guys, let's just say you win that lawsuit, they can turn around and do the same thing in Texas. We'll sue the state of Texas. Okay? And we'll have precedent here because you guys succeeded in here. There's no reason why any judge would not allow that to succeed over there. So you see, they're turning the Republicans' weapon back against them. The Republicans are actually fighting with themselves here because everything they're doing, the other side is doing the same. They're pushing it right back in their face. So they're fighting their own logic here, which there is no logic. There's no reason except just, you know, for them to be petty about this whole election thing and try to win at every chance and all cost. That's what this is about. So, yeah, that's what's going on here. And it's laughable that they have the balls to come to the microphone and have a press conference and say, we're going to sue the state. You know, it's like, you guys are fucking ridiculous. You really are. You show just how stupid you are by your own actions. You know, it's insane. In Colorado, the voters chose to increase taxes on the wealthy to fully fund free breakfast and lunch for all public school kids and bolster the federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP. The AP projected that Proposition MM would pass when 57% of the votes counted were in support of this measure. Only 43 were opposed. The increased taxes on households earning at least $300,000 will shore up funding for free school meals for all public school children, provide raises for school meal staff, and support school district efforts to buy locally sourced food. This is great. You know, It's directly in response to what Trump is not doing as his dictator in chief here. Okay, this is in response. People don't want, you know, these programs to just disappear because we got an asshole for a leader here in our country who simply wants to see the country crash and burn. Okay, and we don't have to allow that to happen. We really don't. You know, when they say, you know, for the people, by people, the people are the government. Okay, and even though we elect people to represent us, at the end of the day, it's us who can turn our backs on them and get back what we want. Okay, we don't have to just accept what they do 100% of the time just because they're there. No, they don't have to be there. They can lose their seat by doing what we don't want them to do. We have that power. Okay? And the only way that power won't affect them is if they illegally take it away from us. And when that happens, folks, it is time for a revolution. Okay? It is time for yet another civil war, because our government at that point would become tyrannical. It would be doing its own thing, leaving us all in the fucking dirt, you know, to fend for ourselves. Okay? And if that's the way it's going to be, then we don't need them. We don't need DC. We don't need those people there. We don't need the legislators there. We don't need anything to do with the government. We need to just cut ourselves off from it. Makes sense to me, right? If they don't want to do their job anymore and work for us, then hey, adios. You know, we'll start with something different. We'll do another government. You guys can fuck yourselves, you know. Okay? But yeah, it's, you know, I'm glad that these voters, I mean, at least in Colorado, were smart enough to recognize the importance of, you know, of not allowing our government, as it is now, to directly destroy people's lives. They're putting a barrier up here on this. And why not tax the rich more? They haven't been taxed enough, as far as I'm concerned. The whole fucking reason why, you know, things in our government aren't working right now is because of funding. And what did Doge do? They cut more funding. So what does that mean? It means if the government is not going to fund things that we need, we're going to have to look to the people who have money to do that for us. Okay? If the rich were actually paying, you know, a fair amount of taxes like they used to do years ago, before I was born, there wouldn't be any talk about, oh, we got funding problems, oh, we ain't got enough money for the... There'd be no discussion about that. There would always be money in the government to fund the things we need. Always, always, always. But because the rich just don't want to share their fucking money or contribute to the community in which is the United States, you know, because they're citizens, right? And because they don't want to contribute anything into the world they live in, okay? That cuts them off from the real world, cuts them off from us. Doesn't make them much of an American anymore, as far as I'm concerned. If you're not willing to spend your money in this country to generate business, to keep the system going, to keep taxes going. I mean, if you don't pay your fucking taxes, hey, you're useless. Okay? Yeah, sure, it's not all about the money, but it is about helping others too. And we have to have certain things like the military. Okay? You think our country would be still here today if we didn't fund the military? Come on. You got to have a military, which means we got to pay taxes in order to have it. You got to have police. You got to pay taxes for that. You got a fire department, taxes for that. Take all that stuff away, and what have you got? A nation in chaos. You got a nation in chaos. You know, just imagine a country without all those things that we pay our taxes on. Okay? Yeah, I understand. Some of the taxes might be high. Okay? But I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one fucking thing. If they were to raise taxes to give every citizen of this country the same health care that I get from the VA, I would vote for it. okay? Because I think every American deserves it, not just those who served in the military. Anyone who is an American deserves to get that healthcare system. Everybody, okay? But because the private sector has their foot up Washington, D.C.'s ass so deep, we're probably never going to see that, ever. And people are continually going to be fucked by the private sector when it comes to health insurance. But I would vote to have the VA healthcare system given to everybody in this country as a default healthcare system. If they don't want it, they can go to the private sector. It's up to them. They're wealthy, probably would go to the private. Fine. Then that means more for the rest of us. We can use it. We can use it. There's people out there who don't have any insurance, health insurance or medical coverage. They don't. That's not right. That is not right, people. Okay? You might as well just kick these people in the crotch and let them drown in the swimming pool. Okay? If you're not willing to take care of your own citizens, what kind of a government are you? Okay? Every other country, free country in the world does that for their citizens, but no, not this one. Because who got to the game first? The big business. Okay? The money makers. They started their shit first before the government could ever get anything done. Okay? That's the reason why we're stuck with this system. And they're not going to let go of that fucking plate on the baseball field for nothing. They're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. Okay? But what you do, how you do make them pissed is by creating the government system anyway. You don't do anything to stop them. You just create the alternative for those who don't have a system. You say, okay, then you can join this one because you're a citizen of the United States. All you got to do is show us your citizenship and you qualify, period. Okay? When that is there and people start dumping their policies to the other side, okay, you know, you can kiss a lot of these corporations goodbye, and that's exactly why big business, the medical community will spend billions to prevent legislation to go through to create such a system in the United States. Okay? And you probably already heard about this, but I'm just going to say here, you know, they got 1,000 flights have been canceled here so far today. It's Friday. They needed to cancel them because of the reductions of the staffing that they've got at these airports, at the the control towers and stuff like that. Some of these people haven't been paid in two weeks, I guess. Okay, because of the government shutdown. And so now that some of these people are not showing up to work, now they got staff problems, and now they have to cancel flights. And I can only imagine what's going to happen during the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't think people should really plan on flying anywhere for the holidays, because you might end up stranded somewhere where a flight has just been canceled, and you're going to be fucked trying to get to where you were headed. You might have to get a bus or something to continue the rest of the way. So it's either you drive to where you want to go, which for some of you would be way too far, or you just stay home. At any rate, this sort of thing is going to cost the airline industry a lot of fucking money, that they're going to lose business from people who have lost their ticket, whatever, their canceled flights. These people, I mean, they're giving refunds to people, but that's money they're losing. That's money they're losing here. And, I can't see how a person who runs an airline can just sit back and just say nothing, to the government about, hey, look, you guys need to stop fucking around with this bullshit government shutdown and get the government running again so we can get, our businesses going. What you guys are doing hinges on the success or failure of Delta and all these other fucking companies out there. Why would big business allow the government to interfere like that with them? That's the thing I don't understand. They're always bitching. We don't want to pay taxes. We don't, Well, here the government is shutting down, and that affects them directly. You see? Like I said, today, 1,000 flights have been canceled. Okay? And they said it's an unprecedented thing. The people are just fatigued. The air traffic controllers are upset and pissed off, and they're just not showing up for work anymore. They're tired. They thought this was going to end sooner than it has, okay? Which I knew it wasn't. But they all thought it was going to end soon, so they kept going to work anyway. Figured we'll get our money. I don't think that's going to happen. And these people are starting to think that way too now. They're starting to think that this government shutdown is going to go on and on and on. And nothing is going to get done, okay? There'll be lawsuits against the government all day long, okay? Which I don't think that matters to Trump. I really don't. I don't think he gives a shit. Because his goal up to this point has been to destroy and dismantle our government, okay? And if lawsuits destroy the company, then go for it, okay? Let them sue the hell out of the government to bring an end to it. I mean, don't you think that's what he's trying to do? Because that's the only logical reason I can imagine why this guy is doing what he's doing. No sane person who's a leader of a country would deliberately destroy it. But he's not sane, is he? He's not sane. He's not well. Okay? He's passing out now at events that go on. They catch him falling asleep. He's not well up here. He's falling apart mentally. And yet, nobody's talking about getting rid of him like they did Joe Biden because of a fucking, debate that the people didn't like. Nobody's out there screaming. Well, I mean, where's Clooney there, and Pelosi and all these other people who were saying, oh, we need to get rid of Biden. We got to put somebody in there. Where are these mouths now here? Why aren't they out there saying we got to get rid of Trump because he's not fit mentally? Physically, he's not fit either. Okay, where are these people now? You see, if you're going to get involved in politics to tell people what should be done, then you got to be consistent. You cannot stay quiet when the other side's doing the same fucking thing. Okay? Logically, Trump and Biden, neither of them should have been running for president. If we follow the reasoning for why the Democrats wanted Biden removed, we have to apply that to Trump because he was in the same boat. Okay, look at him now. I mean, if he was to run for, I would kill him. If he was to try to run for president again now, it'd kill him. There's no way he could do it. He'd have to get some stunt double or something like that to fill, or you know what I'm saying? He couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. All right. So how the hell do you think this man can do anything? For all we know, he ain't running the country. It's somebody else. J.D. Vance, maybe. He's the one that's behind the man behind the curtain. Maybe he's the one running everything. Because Trump, whenever he's around, doesn't seem like the lights are home, okay? The lights are on. Nobody's home. It just, like I said, I don't see that Trump is even capable of even finishing his second term here, whatever. I don't think he's capable of it. I think that by the end of next year, if he's still around, he's going to be so mentally decrepit that he won't even know which end is up anymore. He just won't fucking know what the hell to do. Okay, and I would imagine and I would hope that people would then start to get up and say we need to get rid of him because he can't do anything as a president anymore, or a dictator even. He can't stay focused. So. At any rate, what he's doing here to the airline industry is really shameful, and it's not going to help anything in this country. Him going around lying about things are going well in America, it doesn't fly. People see exactly the opposite. None of what he says is ever true. He lies about everything. So. Ted Cruz has had a meltdown here yesterday. Judge cites Trump's own Truth Social post in scathing order to fully fund SNAP. It appears Trump's angry social media posts have once again landed him in hot water in the courts. U.S. District Chief Judge John J. McConnell Jr. in Rhode Island delivering a scathing rebuke of Trump's Truth Social posts, from Tuesday, when the wannabe dictator claimed that money for SNAP benefits will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government. The White House later clarified that the administration still intended to pay half of the benefits for November, but the damage was already done. McConnell said that the president's post was essentially an admission of his intent to defy his prior court order to pay SNAP benefits in full, and that Trump and his allies had openly admitted they were withholding funding for political reasons. Keep tweeting. You're doing a good job. Okay. So yeah, in blatant defiance of a court order, Trump's saying, screw you. I'm only going to pay half, if he even bothers, okay? You can't trust him to do a damn thing. Which is why I say, this every day he's doing something to add to that list of impeachment. I mean, the list right now is the longest fucking list against the president in American history. Okay? There are so many. I mean, even Richard Nixon don't come close to this. Okay? Even Nixon, with everything that he did, does not come close to how many reasons we have to impeach Trump. Okay? And the fact that there's really no talk about impeachments tells me that it's not going to work because no one's going to support it, or the other side is in on it. That's all I can think of. My guess is they're probably figuring that because the Democrats don't control anything at this point, they can't really go in that direction because they don't have enough seats. They don't have enough political clout to be able to get some Republicans on board with the idea. But how much more are they going to take? I mean, some of these senators come from red states, watching their red states crash and burn around them because of Trump's policies. How much are they going to have to take? I mean, is it that, because I'm in a nice cushy job here in Washington, D.C., getting all kinds of money, that I don't care what my voters back home are, what they're having to go through. As long as I'm getting my money, to hell with them. Hooray for me, to hell with you. Okay, is that what we're supposed to take away from the Republic? I mean, for some Republicans, in D.C., yeah, that's the story. But are we gonna have to accept that all these Republicans are doing the same? Is there not one Republican out there who actually is there to do the job he was voted and elected to do there? I mean, come on, there's got to be at least one. Okay, at some point, I mean, what will unify? The two parties. I mean, really, in a way, what would it take to unify, another country attacking the United States like World War II, where the country is going to have to either go to war or surrender? I mean, is that the only thing that's going to bring two parties together in this country to actually do something? I hate that's the example I have to pull here out of the air, but, it seems like lately, when one side says the sky is blue, the other side automatically says, no, it's not. Okay, it's like, can't they come together on a simple, basic fucking thing? Jesus, I mean, funding SNAP. Who the hell would be against that? Who the hell would say, I don't care about people starving? And when you got Republicans that are sitting there saying as much in front of the cameras to the media, that they don't really care, that, no, we're not going to open the government back up. No, we don't care that people are not going to have SNAP. They tell you, well, we do care about them, and then they'll turn around and cut the food out from, people that talk like that, and so many Americans believing that they're being compassionate, that I don't get. Okay, how can you read into that and say that these people care about what happens to this country? There's none. What they say does not match their actions. Okay, but people today would rather hear the words than actually see the actions. They don't care what the actions are as long as they hear the words. Okay, you people got your thinking backwards. Okay, your actions dictate what kind of person you are, not what you say. People say a lot of things in life and they don't mean it. I think people say a lot of things in life and it's a fucking lie. Okay? But what that person does, for dictates a lot more about, you'll learn a lot more about that individual by watching their habits. Okay? Never take what they say at their word. Don't trust anybody. Okay? You just watch what they do. But too often today, people will just take what somebody says at their word and assume that, oh, they mean that. And that's what MAGA really did. That's why now it's fuck around and find out now. Okay? They took Trump at his word with everything that he wanted to do or said he was going to do. Even though the evidence to the contrary was right in their face. All they had to do was type in Project 2025 in the fucking search engine in Google or something, and they would have read the whole thing about what Trump was gonna do. Okay? So there is no excuse on their part to say they didn't know. But for these people that went to his rallies and heard what they thought he said, okay, when everybody else that was watching these things was hearing what Trump was really saying, we knew what he was saying. But the people in the audience, it went right over their fucking head. Went right over their head. It doesn't matter that these people were there physically listening to him. They didn't hear a thing he said. They only went there and heard what they thought he said. Okay? Kind of goes back to, what I say about eyewitnesses to a crime. They're totally unreliable. You can't get two people who saw a crime to come together and have matching stories, because both sides will have seen and heard and saw, something completely different. And that's the way these people that went to those rallies are. They completely heard different, okay? And when somebody tried to say, did you hear what he said? And they tried to clarify, and they say, no, you got it wrong. They don't even take a minute to even consider that, oh, maybe I did misunderstand that. Didn't even hit them. It's amazing how denial will work in a person. People will, because of blind loyalty to a party, to an individual or something like that, they will not hear, the truth. It will go right over their heads. It's amazing. I watch movies and stuff, of things that, what if kind of movies and stuff. At one time, I used to think, oh, people would never be that stupid to actually go along with something like that. But now I have a different view on that, and I feel like, yes, people are that stupid. People would actually go down that fucking road and ruin everything. I really believe the bar of humanity for me has been lowered considerably since Trump entered the political arena years ago. Okay. He really showed this country just how stupid, naive, and, really misguided we are, because we listened to a madman lie to our faces, and nobody caught on to it. At least not enough people did. And they believed everything he said. And ladies and gentlemen, look where the fuck we are right now. I mean, we're still falling as a nation here. We haven't even hit the bottom yet. And I guarantee you it's going to hit. Okay? Next year is going to be a fucking banner year in this country here for crap. I'll tell you right now, we ain't seen nothing yet. Things are really going to get bad next year. I don't know. I mean, I was saying this since Trump won, that this year it's all going to be about Trump destroying the country. Next year it's going to be about retribution against Trump. Okay, because things are going to get so bad that people are going to have no choice but to turn against him. Okay, the only people that'll be still with him are those that are working with him in D.C. But everybody else, the MAGA base, all that's all going to disappear. It's going to vanish like a fart in the wind. Okay, after Trump is done wrecking this country this year, and when he continues to do that next year, that's it. Okay, that's it. And there's going to be violence. There's going to be, people lining up here to move against him. it's going to be really an eye opener. You know, like I said, we're going to go through hell. I mean, Musk was right about that one thing. A lot of people are going to suffer before things get better. He was right. We are going to suffer before things get better, which means we ain't done suffering yet. But things will get better. Nothing lasts forever. Even bad times don't last forever. Okay? Things end. That's the one constant in life, is that all good things must end, all bad things must end. Okay? It doesn't last. How long we want it to last depends on us. When we get sick and tired of it, then we move to start to end things. Okay? And that's what we need to do as peoples. We need to decide, are we done suffering yet? You know, have we reached our limit? Are we sick of this? Okay? To hell with asking, are we better today than we were years ago? It's pretty clear we're not. Okay? Nobody can answer yes to that. Okay? So we have to ask ourselves, how much more of this do we want to take? We're all unhappy. We're all pissed off. Nothing's going the way we want it. Okay? We're losing our footing financially on so many levels. Okay? The rich are taking from us. You know, what's going to be next? And before you decide that it's time to rise up. I mean, come on. Think about that. I mean, these are serious questions. This is not a guy trying to start a fucking riot. This is a guy asking people a question. You know, there has to be accountability here. You know, we put people in office to work for us. And when they stop doing that, when they stop working for us and they start moving their own little agendas that we didn't even approve of, okay, doesn't that mean it's time to get rid of whoever's involved here in this? I mean, what's that saying? Politicians should be changed regularly like diapers, and for the same reason. Okay? I agree with that. We have a senator here in Maine, Susan Collins. She's been in D.C. too fucking long. Now you can't even trust her. Everything she said is a fucking half-truth and a lie now. Okay? She's been there too long. It's time. It's way past the time to get rid of her and put somebody else there. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. These people stay there too long. It's time to let them go. Okay? Because, you know, what happens is when they stay there long enough, they learn how to really fuck the system up. They learn how to pad their wallets better. Okay, we don't want anyone in the system like that. We don't want them staying there that long. Okay, 1 or 2 terms as a senator, that's enough. That really is enough. Okay, then it's time to relinquish that seat to somebody else. But like I said, we really have to ask ourselves, have we experienced enough? Do we really want to see how far down the rabbit hole this shit gets? Because I'll tell you, the deeper we go, the longer it takes to climb back out. Takes a lot more work to get out of it than it does to get in. And Trump's given us a big fucking task ahead of us. I mean, people don't see it because it's happened so fast, but I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be so easy to undo what he's done in 9-10 months here. Okay? It's not going to be easy. It's going to take, well, maybe the next generation after mine, it might be then when we start to dig ourselves out of this hole. But I won't live to see the country come out of this, you know, intact. Who knows? It's going to really depend on the laser focus of getting this country out of this mess Trump created. We're going to have to get back all that was taken away. We have to fix the Constitution. We have to fix the fucking system of how things are paid for. We got to fix all that. Okay? Otherwise, it's just going to happen again. Because the Republicans will use whatever dysfunction the country is exhibiting right now as a means to get another asshole like Trump into office. And I'm hoping people will by then learn not to buy that shit and understand a crook when they see one. Okay? Or when they hear one. Because Trump really, from the things that he said, the things that he did, the way he campaigned, all these things were big red flags that this guy is dangerous. Okay? These things are dangerous. This guy played you like a fiddle from hell. I mean, he fucking knew. He knew how to get people, you know, because, hey, look, it's like he says, I love the poorly educated. because they're easy to fool. That's why he likes the poorly educated. Okay. Well, you see, this is what happens when the poorly educated get involved in politics. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have the knowledge to back up why they want to vote for somebody because they don't understand. They don't understand. So anyway, that's it for today. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week. So talk to you guys later. Take care.